Yo, this is recording now. Right, it's super weird to talk to myself. Already, I'm like, this is uncomfortable. But here goes. It is 1 a.m. I've gotten sick of lying in bed, not feeling very productive, and feeling kind of like I'm not getting anything done. So here we go. This is starting my YouTube channel. This is going to be horrible. This video is already horrible. Realistically, I'm not ready to start a YouTube channel. But in the interest of iterative development, of starting something, getting there over time, I might as well start. Yeah, so like I said, this video is going to be horrendous. What do I want to achieve with this video, or with this channel rather? That remains to be seen. Right now, I just want to put content out. Okay, let me dial back. I'm someone I've spent the last few years, at least, I've spent a good number of years at this stage, reading and learning, and I think just becoming fairly well read in a few topics, but mostly self-development, philosophy, politics, those sorts of things, video games, music, a few subjects. And I feel like I've got some thoughts that are worth sharing. Am I the first person to ever do this? No. Would I be the last person to do this? No. Am I going to be the most successful? Probably not. But it's worthwhile. I also think the big value I can bring is that I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. Quite frankly, I'm still incredibly early in my journey, but I suspect that is the case for many people, and I hope I can provide value through that. Yeah, so I mean, I guess, where do I stand right now? I mean, I'm almost 25 years old. I've been working in the sort of the software engineering space for a few years now. I recently, about 6 months ago, relocated from Cape Town, South Africa to Porto, Portugal. So that's another aspect I'm interested to share, because learning Portuguese is a fucking hell of an experience. I've already ruined my AdSense. I've already been dropped right there. It's a pretty interesting concept that we live under. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things I talk about on here. I've been racking my brain for the last hour or so on what deserves to be the first topic. What do I feel strongly enough to make the first thing? Because, I mean, realistically, I'm going to have to reiterate this many times because no one's going to fucking watch this video. I'm really expecting no one to probably ever watch this video, so that being said, yeah, I mean, something I've been thinking about a lot for a while. This is too heavy to start with, but it's better than nothing. So, I've been thinking about the idea of the darkness in a person's heart, of how essentially every human in the world has darkness in them, and that's not in some deep metaphorical, like, spiritual sense. I mean, it is in some regards, but really, I mean, we have a whole bunch of negative things that, unless checked, break out into the world and make the world worse. They make, they hurt those around us. They hurt us. They generally contribute to chaos and disorder and misery and things being worse than they could be. Yeah. And okay, so I mean, to stop being so abstract, I mean, these are negative emotions mostly, or emotions that emotions that lead to negative outcomes. I'm talking jealousy. I'm talking most jealousy is a very strong one. I'm talking of depression, of lethargy, of selfishness, of ego, of all of these things that are they consume us, right? Like I don't think it's really news to anyone that like if you let those things embody you, they make the world worse. Because if you are jealous, for instance, and you fail to control your jealousy and allow it to build up in you, you build a resentment towards someone, and then you are negative towards the world, then you will be bad. Like you will make people around you less happy. You will destroy things in anger. You will resent this person that you resent, and you will turn them on you, and you'll make their opinion of you firstly low, but then also of all humans, they will become more driven to distrust people and to expect people to be evil to them. So, and then they will, because of this, they will go on to be worse people in the world, right? This ripples out incredibly quickly to destroy the whole planet. Like, I mean, most of the shit we see in the world is people failing to contain their darkness. Yeah. I mean, I pretty much can go in circles around that, but like, this is all to say, am I mute? Hello? No, I'm pretty sure that wasn't my sound. If that was my sound, I'm going to be very mad. Because I've been talking for a while now, so it's very clear that that can't be it. I'm just going to keep talking, fuck it. I'm going to be so mad. That 100% wasn't recording. Anyways. Okay, so you fail to continue darkness and you bleed this out of the world becomes worse. And this is why, to me, through my contemplations of morality and what makes a good person, what is the ethic, what is moral ethics, I've come quite strongly to feel to feel quite strongly that it's on the individual, right? Our first step is to contain our problems so they don't bleed out to the world. And just doing that, honestly, if we all just did that, the world, I'm not going to say it was perfect, but we would take a lot of suffering out of the world. Most of the shit in the world is us not dealing with these things. Amongst other things, because these bleed out, like there's things we know we need to do that we don't do. That's where the second class of pain in the world comes from mostly. But I think a lot of that is motivated even by these negative emotions. It's selfishness, it's laziness, those sort of things that cause you not to do the things you should do. It's fear. It causes you not to do the things you should be doing. And I mean, yeah, that's why it's like morally, I think our obligation is to take care of this. It's like we, foremost, before we consider anything else, before we consider, saving the world, making the community better, whatever we perceive as like good, inventing a time machine, we need to make sure that we are focusing, we're taking the necessary steps to contain our own darkness. And I mean, there are various things to do. Like, I mean, you'll hear much more about this as things go on, but it's about the biggest tools for this are often journaling and meditation. Those just give you such clarity into how you behave and what causes you to do what you do, and the causes of your problems. Realize that you have this darkness in you, and it affects people, and how you can learn how to rein it in. And it's not instant. It's not like, oh, you meditate once and you're like, oh shit, I figured it all out now. It's like you are going to meditate for a long time, and it's going to slowly teach you that your thoughts are just transient and they come from almost nowhere. And with time, you'll learn that you can ignore them, and you don't have to. When you feel angry, you don't have to lash out. When you feel jealous, you don't have to lash out, etc., etc. And then alongside this, I consider them almost the same thing, but they're fairly different practices. Journaling, and by journaling I just mean pouring out your thoughts. It doesn't have to have any particular structure, but I think you shouldn't treat it as like instructing yourself how to do things. I used to do a lot of that, and I fell into that trap. But you should look at It's really about pouring out what's on your mind. Just type what's on your mind, and you'll think about things. I mean, you probably think about things all the time. Like you don't write them down, so you lose where they're going. You almost get very little value out of what you're thinking about. Thinking feels productive, but it's not really. Um, but when you write down, you can get like a solid chain of events. Like you think this one thought, and then it goes into this, and once you got this down, you can write the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And before you know it, you've self-psychologized yourself. Like you've given yourself a psychology session, and you're now better at understanding yourself and understanding where these things come from, understanding why you feel these things, realizing that people probably aren't evil, that you probably project, that you're mad about something, or you feel small about something, or you're jealous of something, and then that changes the way the world looks to you. These are the basic things. I mean, there's much more. You need to keep yourself from addiction, and you need to exercise, and you need to sleep properly. These are all parts of taking care of the baby that is you, like the inner child that you are. Like you have the child and the father, right? Or mother, but you got the adult and the inner child. That it's like you grow up, your inner child is still there. It's just you lose touch with it, and you kind of realize that in a lot of regards it's still running the show. Like it's part of your darkness. Like it feels mad, and it feels sad, and it looks at things that hurt it when it was a child and gets upset about those things, and it wants to eat candy all day and not go to school, and it's the job of the other side of our brain, or the other side of our being, to override that and to drive us in the right direction. But at the same time, that's almost really just teaching the child, because you're still the child. Like you're these two people, or these two halves of a person. But in a lot of the time, the child is the one that's really doing things. The adult, the father, whatever you would want to call it, is fairly detached. It's not almost in the real world. It's not there all the time. You have to almost summon it through meditation and these things. You have to convene with it. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I consider this to be the highest moral ethic, the thing you need to pursue, the thing we all need to pursue. Is that if we follow this, we are good people, we make the world a better place, we avoid making the world the worst place. And I mean, I can't think of a more straightforward or more pure moral ethic than trying to leave the world in a better place and not making it worse. Because I think it's very easy to try and make the world better and then lose yourself on that path and make the world worse. But to just not make the world worse, to just kind of realize that you are a great source of darkness in the world and rein that in, I think that's very powerful. It's not to be confused, obviously, with passivity or anti-humanism, where one decides that humans are evil and that we should cease to exist, or we shouldn't act because acting will cause evil. We have to act. An unfortunate reality of the world is that generally, it's not a hard rule, this is not some capitalist manifesto, but in most situations there's a winner and a loser. And it's not, okay, let me frame it differently. It's that a lot of the times you can stand back and decide not to do something, and then you will not get this thing. But that's not necessarily useful, because you don't get what you need. Like there's obviously preferable things, right? It's like, would you rather have your family have food or someone else's family have food? If you're both starving, right? You prefer your family to have food, of course. And it's like, one can argue, oh, I'm divine, I don't care about these things, but it's like, I think that's naive. Like our amount of care radiates out, like it starts with us or our family. And then it slowly gets bigger. Like you can slowly care about more people, but I mean, feel free to disagree, but I don't think this is worth disagreeing with. I think we care about ourselves. So a preferable situation. This is not an advice to take advantage of everyone, but it is more amusing that you can choose who wins often. You just play the game. You can withdraw, but you should probably engage. I got a bit off topic there. All I meant to say is that you should continue your darkness and looking how negatively you contribute to the world, how you can more positively contribute to the world on a very small scale. Because you're a small human, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and end world hunger. but you can wake up tomorrow and probably be slightly less of an asshole than you were today. And that's already monumental in making the world a better place. I hope this ramble has made the slightest bit of sense to anyone. Fuck, if one person watches this stupid video that I've recorded at 1 in the morning, I'll be very happy. So, to you, my one viewer, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. See you again in the brief future. Cheers.